My boy Grizzy done dropped Controversy 5. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. And to be honest, this just might be the best one. Let's talk about it. The first track was an easy favorite. Grizzy was in a pocket and it carried me all the way through the song. I loved it. Postcard, he sounded fire. That's not much saying much because Postcard's always sounding fire on tracks, on features, so it doesn't really matter. But these two together definitely were an enjoyable pair, and I loved how this was the very first track on the album. Skipping over Virus because there wasn't much that impressed me, or should I say got me excited in that track. Let's go to Vaccine. Vaccine was absolutely fire. Both Grizzy and Samad absolutely snapped. And to be honest, I think this might be my most played song on the album. This was definitely had me going, making the stank face. And to be honest, it's probably my favorite and my vote for the best track on the album. What I really like is that this album seems to be broken down into pieces or parts, and this first part of the album definitely felt as though it was more of Grizzy venting. It felt as though he was speaking on the current events of the world and how it made him feel. The production, in my opinion, felt like it was there for more of just an overtone to add to the emotion that we heard in his voice, that we heard in his delivery. But it didn't feel like it directly influenced how he made the song, how he delivered his verses, how he said what he said. That Stop Resisting skit, whoo, whoo, yeah, that one sent me. That was beautifully done. Another one of my favorite tracks on the album. Conversely, Turn Off was not a big fan of that. I don't know. I'm just kind of done with the overly sexual songs. Like, you can only have so much WAP in your life. I like I don't know, it just wasn't the move for me, even though I think Grizzy and Lex both delivered solid verses. Just the subject matter is what turned me off. For the Night featuring Gatsby was kind of in the same vein as Turn Off for me, but in my opinion, I really was feeling Gatsby's verse. As much as I tried not to like the song, as much as I was definitely thinking, oh, another sex song, Gatsby kind of showed up and delivered, and I had to go and play it back just to see what I was thinking. And overall, I can't really be bad at it. I think it was definitely delivered better than Turn Off was, but still not my favorite subject matter. Then we kind of get to this second piece of the album where we have Grizzy just going in on drill beats, yo. What? Like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, to be honest, I enjoyed all of those songs, from Torpedo to Living Legends, Big Blessings. Like, all of those were just fire to me, and I really enjoyed them. To be honest, this was one of the more replayable albums that I've heard this year. One thing that I definitely noticed about this project is that it was definitely a lot of F the industry, and while I agree and while I can understand where he's coming from, he just felt a lot like Russ. It felt like I was listening to Russ's brother, if Russ had a brother. He might have a brother, to be honest. I don't really know. But I feel like that's what I was listening to. And although that doesn't take away the credit from what he's saying, although that doesn't make anything that he said any less true, it's definitely one of those things that made a lot of people dislike him. All this moaning, all this bitching about how the industry isn't fair. And I think the way Grizzy does it is in more of a critique. I think it's in more of a, I don't want any part of that, than where Russ is coming in. I have to be a part of this. I did it myself just to be here. I really like Grizzy's take better, although it still comes across as similar. And then we hit this kind of final phase of the album where things really turn again. They're not the same ambient feeling of Grizzy venting. It's not the same drill feeling of Grizzy going in, but these seem more focused songs, songs that had a subject matter, songs that he really had something to say in. And I really enjoyed this piece too. I think that as a whole, Grizzy does a really good job of blending all three of these together into one album, but also making it so that each switch it carries. It doesn't just fall off. It doesn't just abruptly end the previous one. It just keeps going, and I really, really enjoyed that. As I approached the end of this album, I definitely was leaning more towards What's the Procedure and God versus Satan. I think that What's the Procedure was just an amazing song, and I think that God versus Satan gone absolutely snapped. So these two songs definitely caught me by surprise, especially being the last two songs on the album. I was incredibly just like mind blown. Like, what? Grizzy, you held out to the end on these? These were, in my opinion, easy picks for the favorites of this album. They definitely held their own weight on the album as well as the other songs did, but these two songs I would definitely find myself going back to more so than any other song on the album, and that's really all I have to say about that. That being said, all in all, I give this album a solid 8. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I think it was dope, but I can't lie, I felt like there was something missing. I can't exactly put my finger on it. I can't exactly tell you what it was, but I definitely had this feeling that if there was just that one little something there, this album would be perfect to me. I think this was a really strong showing for Grizzy. I think he did an incredible job of showing his versatility. I think he did a good job of showing his ability to rap. I think he's an incredible MC, and I think that his pure rapping ability is definitely up there with the best of them. I would love to know how you guys feel, what you guys think, what's your favorite songs on the album, what's your favorite verses, features, all of that. Drop down to the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. Until next time, till the next review, I'll see y'all later. I'm gone. Peace.